right, so as we get set up for our next quarterfinal, this one is going to be tasty. And I got another guest commentator, executive director of the Alberta Basketball Association, and the host of the basketball show, good friend of mine, Paul Sir, Steve Sirdag.
That's right. That's right.
Broadcast. Good to have you on, man.
Great to be here with you, Kyle.
A little payback for you having me on the basketball show.
Absolutely.
About a month back.
Comes around.
Yeah, hey, give me your assessment of this next quarterfinal that we're about to see. This Lithuanian team has been, a shock to some people on the tour this year. They kind of came out of nowhere, but they are on the map in a major way. They obviously won the Montreal Masters and have been in the Nanjing final as well against the Novi Sad team that has been limping here. They didn't have the type of success this year that we've grown accustomed to seeing from this Serbian squad.
Look, number one, Šakiai is a really balanced team. They're physical, and they have the ability to match up physically with Novi Sad, which in the past has really been a dominating feature of the Novi Sad team. They're a great combination of physicality and skill. The Šakiai can match up with them physically, and they shoot the ball so well. They really have tailored their game ideally to the 3-on-3 model, the FIBA 3x3 rather model. And I think if I read Novi Sad correctly, they've been successful for so long. They've always had a target on their back, Kyle. And I think now the other teams keep raising their level of play, and they've caught up to Novi Sad. Yeah.
We've seen that gap definitely close, especially this season. This is a Novi Sad team who went 32-0 en route to their third World Tour final last year. But they haven't tasted victory since July after back-to-back Masters win in Chengdu and Mexico City. I mean,
it really looked like Novi Sad was back then, didn't it?
It did.
And then the other teams, and Šakiai being one of them, emerged. And it was like, these guys are really tough. I remember that semifinal matchup, I believe it was either quarters or semis in Montreal.
Yeah, they beat Novi Sad.
They beat Novi Sad.
Yeah, they beat Novi Sad in the semifinals of that. It was actually the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Novi Sad lost in 3 quarterfinal Masters after their 2 Masters wins. So,
yeah, absolutely, and that was, I think, the coming out party for Šakiai. It's like, wow, these guys can really play. They've looked good, but the way they shoot the ball, move the ball, and bang on the inside, they remind me of a cross between Novi Sad and Riga.
Yeah.
They're not quite as stylized as Riga is. Like Riga, they'll tear your heart out in so many ways.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great matchup.
And to your point about the shooting that Šakiai Gubale bring, they shot 38% from beyond the 2-point arc, 10 of 26 through pool play. 38% is a good percentage when in 5-on-5 indoor play.
Absolutely.
Let alone outdoor basketball like we're seeing out here. So,
absolutely.
We'll see if they can continue to keep that hot hand going as their leading scorer coming into the day is Marius Ujupas, 14 points for him, 10 points in a big win over Jeddah. Novi Sad coming in 1-1. They lost by 9 to Princeton, but they bounced back with a win over compatriots Zamoon. So not often you see Novi Sad losing at the pool stage, but yet here they are. It's been a representation of this 2019 season for them, a bit uncharacteristic. They had a day-high 17 turnovers through pool play and 3 of 23 from 2 range. So
I'd be curious on your thoughts on this, Kyle. Is this battle fatigue over a period of years? Because one of the things that I think people don't understand who haven't followed 3x3 is the wear and tear of the travel schedule these guys have.
Absolutely. I do think that plays a factor. And, that fatigue has been showing. They've been the top dogs. And, there were points where Novi Sad even seemed disinterested in years past because they were so good, they were so dominant. But now we're starting to see, obviously, the tide begin to change with the squad.
What about from your experience level too, Kyle? At the level of play I perceived this year, I really started following it 3 years ago, but the level of play, the level of team, I think is noticeably higher over 3 years ago in terms of the depth and the range of teams that can play. So what Novi Sad could dominate people physically before, they can't. Šakiai is a perfect example of
absolutely. That. No, absolutely. I've noticed that as Ujupas gets to the rim and gets it to go down. No, I think that's a great assessment. I was having that conversation actually earlier with with some of our FIBA staff and trying to kind of diagnose how things have shifted. So much parity in our game. We had 8 World Tour Masters winners this year, and that makes this final day of play unpredictable. Anybody literally could win it because the talent is so widespread now.
And I think one of the other things is the skill level has become more diverse at more positions. You have big guys that can score inside and outside. You have, quickness now matters, where
Absolutely.
5 years ago, I don't think quickness mattered as much as it does now.
No.
But I think the way the game is played, the way the teams space the court now, and the way they can shoot the 2-ball, I think it's just opened things up so people can do more with the basketball than they could in the past.
Now, you actually had your introduction to 3x3 back in 71. Am I right? You've been a great ambassador for the game. So you've seen the evolution of 3-on-3 basketball, unlike many others. I'm interested to know your take from way back in 71. I'm not trying to say way back like that, but 71 to now.
Don't worry, it is way back.
I mean, it's a totally different game.
Oh, it's a totally different game, 5-on-5 as well as 3x3. And I think, I also went through the wars where 3-on-3 was played, particularly in the U.S., and you probably remember this, Kyle. It was just a bloodbath out there.
Yeah.
All it was rugby with a basketball.
Yeah.
And the game has evolved into this. Now, I will say this, 3-on-3 has always been an important part of a lot of teams' development, a lot of player development. I coach university, coach professionally, and we use 3-on-3 for teaching the game all the time.
Off-ball movement.
Ball movement, core position, help side defense, spacing, all of the things that you see out here. But what this game has become, and I love the way that FIBA has developed the game with the 12-second shot clock. They've made it a science, and the constant ball movement, constant motion. This isn't your daddy's 3-on-3 anymore.
Oh no! And just imagine. I mean, this game is still evolving too. Imagine what 3x3 will look like, after the Olympic Games. Let's say in 5 years from now. It's going to be unbelievable.
It's going to evolve in exponential ways.
Yeah.
It's going to professionalize. People are going to start training specifically for this game. Like you can even see it now, the way teams play now, their sets, all of the ways they execute the game, the way they look to slip to the basket off screen and rolls because of all the space you have to work with.
Sure.
It is really marvelous to watch.
Yeah, I like some of Šakiai Gubali's action. Watch, they typically like to get it to that left elbow to Pukalis, but he was defended well from Evosep, and they open the offense from right there. He can either hand off, fake the handoff. He's got Vingalis going to the rim. They get so many buckets just out of that action. It's something that I've recognized from this team throughout this season.
100% great observation. That they get a lot of actions. They have a lot of read and reacts that they do based on what the defender does. What the defender gives them, they'll react to it and go to the space where the defender isn't guarding them.
There's Uzupis.
Yeah, he's a beast. I love the way he plays. He is ferocious around the basket. He shoots the 3 comfortably. He can put it on the deck and get to the rim. I just think he's a special player.
When you think of prototypical 3x3 players, you want someone who's got size, can move their feet, strong defender, can also shoot it from beyond that 2-point arc. That is Mariusz Uzupis. Another guy that stands out to me on Team Princeton is Robbie Hummel. When you look at that ideal kind of 3x3 prototype, these are the type of guys that will dominate the future of this game. Uzupis misses the free throw, however.
I agree with you. Hummel, I think, you can see why he played in the NBA. He's got length, plus the sweet stroke, plus the basketball IQ.
There's a sweet stroke from Vingalis, and the maestro unable to answers.
I've seen. I think the maestro has struggled this year.
Yeah,
shooting the ball. He hasn't had the same confidence in the past. And I also think just on Bullet, like that was a typical Bullet pass. He drew people to him, dropped it underneath. But I think people have physically gone after him in a different way than they have in the past. He's always been able to slip around, get around people, where a lot of people are standing him up and keeping them in front of him now.
And not only that, I think it's the mental factor too, because for so long, Dusan Bullet had been the #1 player, longer than anybody else. He was the boogeyman. When players saw him coming, they would say, oh, man.
He was the legend.
He's the legend. But now, guys are saying, you know what? I think I can take him now. And to Dusan's defense, he loves that challenge.
He does.
And he's really had a hell of a season. He averaged over 8 points per game this year. This is a guard who shot 68% from inside the two-point arc, nearly 35% from beyond the arc. And people forget this is a Novi Sad team that won Masters, but they have a standard of excellence.
They do.
And that's why we judge them a little bit differently.
Yeah, they are definitely, they always are playing. I say that about Maestro, and he takes it to the rim and drops it. The teardrop is a beautiful teardrop. It's a great game. Right now, you can see Novi Sad came to play. They seem to be on a bit of a mission right now, but both teams are just battling.
Yeah, your 2 seed against your 5 seed. Novi Sad, your 2 seed, and again coming out of pool play 1-1. As Group B was won by Princeton, we got a tight one. It's 6-6 with just under 6 minutes to play.
One of the things about Hassan that when he makes his mind up, he's pretty much unstoppable one-on-one. Whether that's the finishing at the rim or dropping it to a teammate, when he's engaged, he's pretty much, I'd say he's the most unstoppable player still in my mind one-on-one in the tour. I don't think anyone seizes the moment quite like he does, even now. It's winning time. Dushan Bullet is going to show up. Meantime, the mid-range J splash, Vengalis shows no fear. But we got a shot clock challenge here. I think one thing that Šakiai has brought to the game this year is an unexpected blend of shooting and toughness that most teams don't possess. They have almost a special version of toughness. They kind of remind me of Riga,
yeah,
but a little more on the interior than Riga has at times. And that isn't, you know, I say that like I'm taking something away from Riga. I'm not taking anything. I agree with you. They are on a mission.
Yeah.
They're playing on a mission. They are so ready for every game from the get-go.
Yeah. And
they're into they're into the team they're defending right off the first pass in to get the game going.
Yeah. All right, once again, if you're just joining us, Kyle Montgomery, a.k.a. Voice in Your Ear. Paul Sir alongside, handling our guest commentary for this second quarterfinal. You got Novi Sad, you got Šakiai Gubale. We got a thriller without the red jacket and zippers. Third meeting between these two. This year, they met the semifinals of that Montreal Masters. I think I said quarterfinals earlier. My bad. A win for Šakiai Gubale en route to their first ever Masters title. They also met the Novi Sad Challenger earlier this summer in the quarterfinals. That ended up being a win for Novi Sad. So Šakiai Gubale's gotten it done on the bigger stage. Also bronze medal winners at the Europe Cup this year. Novi Sad, who also doubled as Serbia in our national competitions. They won gold at that Europe Cup this year. Speaking of national teams, shout out to Canada basketball, who we found out this weekend the men will be competing in the Olympic qualifying tournament in India in March, which is a tribute to you. So congratulations, and a tribute to all the hard work as an ambassador for 3x3 and providing opportunities for your countrymen to now have an opportunity to potentially play in the Olympic Games.
Thank you for that, Kyle. I mean, we have worked awfully hard in our province. The team of people that I work with have been really dedicated over the literally last 10 years to try to get to this point. Canada as a nation hasn't embraced 3x3 as I think it will, and it is starting to. So we look at this as an exciting beginning. We're really happy for and proud of the Team Edmonton guys because they had to battle right to the end, not just to do well themselves in the competition, but along with the help of a number of other centers and a number of other teams to raise the level of the ranking on the men's side. It was unfortunate that the women didn't qualify because of the qualifying rules, because Team Canada was absolutely devastatingly good down the stretch.
The Blue Sisters were outstanding over this year.
Fantastic. Just great basketball players. But it's the first Olympics, and a lot of things were put into place and into motion that some of the selections for the Olympic qualifying tournament, I think a lot of people have raised eyebrows. But these are rules that were put in place for a reason a number of years ago, and it's been a process to get to this point.
No, absolutely, absolutely. 4:28 left in this quarterfinal here. Novi Sad just a step in front of Šakiai Gubale. These two teams had a classic too at that Europe Cup in Debrecen, and Novi Sad was able to beat this team by just 1 point en route to that gold medal. So this is one of those tug of wars that you just never know. May the best team win. I think it'll obviously come down to execution. And Šakiai, even though they're new to the tour this year, as Dushan Bullet got more range than Rover, splashed the 2-ball, puts his team up by 3. But they've come of age fairly quickly. As they're newbies here to the World Tour final, but they look like vets.
I see a focus in Novi Sad. I see the focus in Novi Sad that I grew accustomed to in years past. When they were 32-0 last year, the 32 game. They really are on their game right now. Yeah,
they had to be, and I think one of the keys for them going forward, and I think one of the more underrated players in the game, I talked about this yesterday on the broadcast, is Marco Savage. He struggled in pool play. 4 points. He had 7 turnovers. He didn't make a single 2-point shot. This is as the middle of the game as any other type of sport. Got to wipe that away. Forget about it, have a short memory, and get to it when the stakes are biggest, which is obviously today. The Maestro routed off the rim.
You really do have to have a Sharks mentality. You just have to be looking for your next. You literally, my old coach used to say, you got to look for your next kill. Yeah. You can't think about the one you missed. You got to think about the next one you're going to make.
I like that. I might be borrowing that.
Please do. Please do. Royalty checks can be sent to my home address.
3:32 remaining in this one. And Novi Sad out front, we got 6 fouls apiece.
Really taken away the 3-point shot. They've been real successful at running Šakiai off the line.
And they did their scout report. They knew how potent this team is. Again, shooting 38% in the first couple of pool play games. Marius Užupis is being smothered from Evo set, but that's one thing Užupis can do. He's got the size to challenge a big like Evo set.
He does.
He can even get past some of the smaller guards too. He doesn't score on that play, but it shows you, his ability to get to the rim and no fear. There's Frankenstein. He couldn't get the.
That's such a great nickname.
Listen, especially last year, I thought he was the sole difference that helped Novi Sad go unbeaten. And I couldn't think of anything else. I'm like, this guy's half monster, half man. Forget it. Frankenstein's got to be the nickname. He told me, I love it, stick with it, so we've been sticking with it. Speaking of sticking it, there's Dushan Bullet. He drains one from top of the key, but fell asleep on Užupis.
Eva said, welcomes contact.
Oh, that was
we are seeing vintage.
Silliness.
We're seeing vintage.
That was Dirk Nowitzki-like. Dushan with the one. No, forget that was James Harden-like.
That was Harden.
The one-legged.
One-legged off-balance fade into his left.
Get out of here, man. I think the king is back. He brought his A game today. 16-9. Belavicius. Pass is stolen. The Maestro. Trying to cue up some stream music. Instead, he drives and kicks. Savage takes a bump on the floor. That's foul number 7 on Šakiai. So Novi Sad will be shooting a couple of free throws here.
One of the things you see in this, Kyle, it's kind of like in baseball when hitters go cold, and that great hitters all of a sudden can't see the ball.
Yeah.
Same in basketball. Sometimes your shot disappears. Sometimes your rhythm disappears. And what you really can control, the only thing you can control is your effort. And then you eventually, if you put your effort in, you're going to find your rhythm again.
Absolutely.
And I see that right now in Novi Sad. They seem to have, with their effort, they seem to have started to find their rhythm. Plus, it doesn't hurt to have Bullet on your team.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt at all. The free throw, good as well. So now Novi Sad's lead out to 8. It's 17-9. Just over $2 to play. We'll see if Šakiai can string together some possessions here defensively and offensively to trim into this lead. But this is normally when Novi Sad go in for the kill. They will go at your neck like a bow tie. And Šakiai, they happen to be on the opposite end of an aggressive attack from the Serbian squad. 2:05 left in a 7-point contest. Here's Uzi looking to go to work. Nice turnaround as he gets the baby
His versatility is impressive. He's got length. He pulls that shot. It's a Larry Bird-like shot. behind his head.
Yeah.
It's really tough to guard.
I think that might be the first Larry Bird reference we've had on broadcast this year, but
Well, I'm so I can give you Bill Russell references if you want.
listen, I saw Larry. I saw Larry the legend towards the end of his career, so I'm familiar. Big time. It's Evo Sep taking care of business at the stripe. Novi Sad closing in on a quarterfinal win that will send them to a rematch of last year's World Tour final against Riga Ghetto. As Evo Sep, clean trip to the stripe. It's 19-11, and the lights beginning to dim on the Lithuanians. But Uzi ain't done emptying the clip yet. 2 to the head, and it's a 6-point game. Evo Sep, drop step, baby food.
Vintage.
Game point, Novi Sad. Uzi fighting to the very end. He's gonna keep shooting until he got no more ammo. And he happens to be out right now. Novi Sad, you see the emotion. They look like a new team. From pool play to now, a dominant win over Šakiai that will send them into the semi.